Well, let's not break out the joy loom just yet.
Check this out!
And welcome, it's episode 116, Red Leaf Retrocast. We're doing retro games. Colin, Joey, you guys are here. I am JD. This was your theme pick today, Colin. What you got and why?
I picked Rage Against the Machines. And why I picked it? Well, aside from the title sounding cool, it was primarily inspired from playing Xenoblade Chronicles, which is a fairly recent example of fighting an enemy force that's primarily comprised of robots, or AI. And I thought that'd be a fun theme to cover here. It's too bad we can't use any Daft Punk music for the intro.
I mean, just give me an idea and I can make that happen.
Yeah, there's the Robot Rock song.
Well, why not? Anyways, whatever. I had a snarky comment, but then my brain just went, no, don't say that. Okay. Yeah, this was, I actually quite enjoyed this pick. Got a definite dichotomy of two different well-made games. For sure. Joey, what was your impression?
I don't know. To sum both of them up, I don't know. They're pretty different.
Yeah, they're very different. Absolutely. So I'm on a time crunch today, but I think that won't matter with how much we have to say. But let's just get started. Colin, your theme. How about you go first? What you've been playing? What you've been up to?
Well, work seems to be calming down a bit. I can finally rest up a smidge. Hey, Canada Day was a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
But I didn't do anything.
You didn't do anything on Canada Day? Dude, I got, smashed on Canada Day. I dedicated Canada Day to the greatest Canadian that has ever lived this year. That is Nathan MacKinnon, Stanley Cup champion of the Colorado Avalanche. This is glorious. Nice. This is glorious times to be a Canadian named Nathan MacKinnon, and I agree with Nathan MacKinnon's decree to be Stanley Cup champion and the best hockey player on Earth currently. There you go.
Yeah,
do you disagree with my Canadian Day decree?
I didn't say I disagreed.
Okay, good.
I just don't pay attention to that stuff nowadays.
The Canadian doesn't pay attention to hockey. You know, you have to at least pay attention to Blue Jays baseball on Canada Day. But I doubt you do that too, Colin.
You would be correct.
This guy, Joey. What are we going to do with this man?
No idea.
Get my job to calm the fuck down. That's what you can do.
You know, you always come on here, and the first thing you go is, work is tough, blah, blah, blah. You know what? Work is tough for me right now. It's very hot. It's in the 90s. I left Texas to not experience that weather. Many years ago.
What? I gotta go through it too.
And yeah, I actually did read it's been sweltering hot of 85 in Toronto, in the 30s, if you will.
Yeah.
But I have had, it's been me and one other guy doing an entire design of experiment for military customers, and this thing has just kicked my ass for the last 3 weeks. And over this last week, it is pure exhaustion kicking in. So this 3-day weekend couldn't have come at a better time, and it got to the point where we're just are they going to make us work on a weekend? Because this thing's not done. We had a hard Tuesday deadline. And I looked at the engineering manager, and I go, are you the brainchild that said we had 3 weeks to do this thing? And he goes, I'm sorry. I'm like, tell him it's not ready. I'm not working over the weekend. Fuck it. We can't do it. Yeah. I broke 2 machines during this process because they're old as dirt, and the materials would just wear out. And I'm even at the start, I go, hey, I'm going to break this. because we're going to use it a lot. Order extra material or replacement parts. You got it. Never came. So yeah, exhausted. I've been playing many games, but Colin, before we get more into me, you brought up work and I had to vent. But vent for the Stanley Cup champions, Colorado Avalanche, and I'm so happy.
Yeah, I spent Canada Day just laying around. There was one opportunity that I could have gone to Toronto Island and did a barbecue and watched some fireworks, but A, I was feeling worn out, and B, the way my work schedule works is if I have like a holiday during the work week, that day's off, and then the rest of the days of the work week have to be made up on Saturday and Sunday and all that. So I had to work yesterday.
The day after Canada Day. You know, I missed working in Canada where I got both July 1st and July 4th off.
Nice.
Yeah. That was good times. It's just like when I was working for No. That was the same job. My God. Morning. Hi. How you doing? Yeah, because the company was also out of Switzerland. I'd get like the Swiss holidays off too. So I'd get like 3 singular holidays off a month, seemingly. It was pretty cool.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it's awesome.
But yeah, for games I've been playing, I've mostly just been playing a bit of Strafe on Steam. For those who don't know,
I am not familiar.
Yeah, it's a Devolver Digital game, actually.
Okay, those are generally pretty fun at the very least.
Yeah, it's like it's sort of a Doom 2016 style first-person shooter, but it's actually a roguelike. So every playthrough is different, but the high speed, high octane gameplay is there, and of course, being Devolver Digital, there's a lot of gallows humor, and it's intentionally designed with like blocky graphics, but at the same time it looks like high def, sort of like an older N64 game looking all polished. I guess one comparison I could make is like the Turok on PS4.
Okay.
Which we covered last cast.
That's right. We did.
Indeed. But yeah, aside from that, I haven't been playing much else, aside from Oendan 2, as I always go into. But yeah, everything else has just been podcast games on my end.
All right. Joey, how about yourself? What's going on? Hopefully your internet's working.
Yeah, I think it's a bad Ethernet cord. I just switched it out. Hopefully it stays, because it was going in and out like every 20 seconds. It was annoying. I've been playing Rogue Legacy too. So,
hell yeah. Okay, give me lots of details over that sucker.
I am all the way up into the 4th area, the one where you have to climb up and up and up. So I'm not really good at that, so I'm still trying to learn that. I keep getting killed by the saw blades that come out of the platforms. And I'm not very good at hitting some of like the perfectly timed jumps. I'm still trying to get better at that so I can continue. I have a shit ton of stuff unlocked. I think I unlocked all the classes that I can so far. I think there's 2 I haven't.
So when you die, can you like at this point pick your own class of whatever you want, or is it still pretty random of like 3 that you pick?
I locked one of them. I have got that one. I haven't got the lock spell yet. Okay. I think that's the next thing I might do. I've been doing a lot of the challenges. I hate the fucking Archer challenge. For the life of me, I can't do it.
Okay, what's the Archer challenge?
The one where you have to break the all the targets in like 20 seconds.
Okay.
It takes me like a minute.
Oh no.
I just not good at. I never play that character. Like I hate the Archer. I think it's terrible. So I just never play with it. So I don't really. I'm not good enough. I guess I have to play around to finally get good.
Master the mechanic.
Yeah. because I don't know. It feels useless in a dungeon full of things that come at you that you have to stop and shoot. It just doesn't really seem to work well in my head, so I'm not good with it. I like the gunslinger because at least you can like shoot a bunch. But
yeah. So
the archer.
speaking of bad mechanics, just interrupt you for a second. Remember how in the last podcast I was talking about Horizon Forbidden West with the explosive pods that you have to shoot an arrow at?
Yeah.
So what I do is I found a way around it. It's kind of a bad workaround, but again, this like weapon is so strong if you actually hit it. So I'll freeze an enemy with like a trap of some kind. Okay, so the enemy is stationary, and if one of those parts on the enemy has the explosive part like on the like belly of them, so the explosion field would hit them. What I do is I throw this pod on the ground, and then I can shoot an arrow into it because it's a non-moving object, and it's on a non-moving, target in general. So that's what I do. It's a little cumbersome, and when you're in the heat of battle of like, let's just say if there's more than one enemy, odds are this isn't happening, but there's really like strong singular enemies that you come across and put some good use to it. Few and far between, but because the weapon cycle system, you can just go in and out between a bunch of weapons. It's not a big deal. It's just kind of a little cumbersome. But yeah, found a way to get that to work. Shouldn't have to. It should just work in the first place, but that's where we're at.
That'd be too easy.
Yeah, that'd be too easy. So yeah, continue.
I think that's about it. I've only got to the 4th area's boss once, so I didn't do too well because I didn't know his attacks. But I think I got it down to half health. So the 3rd area, I think, or am I in the 5th area? How many areas are there? Now I got to look it up. I'm confusing myself. Like every time I'm like, oh, I'm this far, and I'm like, wait, no, there's more.
Yeah, just say 13. Say something so arbitrarily wrong, and then just go with it.
37 areas. Okay.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, it's a lot of screens at least.
I don't think there's 5 or 6. I don't know. The one that got me, because usually every boss has like 2 different, I guess, modes, but one of them had like a surprise 3rd one. And I was always so beaten up that I was like, fuck. So it took me a while just to get good enough that I didn't take damage on the first 2 and then beat him on the 3rd. So, but I don't know. It's fun. I like the story. I like all the mobs. I think it's entertaining. I like the pizza girl, so I could unlock all the
pizza
teleports.
girl.
Yeah, there's a pizza girl.
What does that mean?
You find her in a pizza shop, and then you can spend close to like 2,000 gold to unlock each of the teleports. So you can just teleport right to an area, so you don't always have to start from the beginning. So that's nice. So I bought all her shit, and then sometimes pizza's dropped on the ground, and it's more health than the turkey leg or meat stick thing that normal.
Meat stick,
so.
Yes.
Meat stick, baby. So yeah, I'm having fun with it. Hopefully I'll have it beaten here by the next podcast.
Okay.
Or at least the first go around, because usually there's a couple playthroughs. So I'm assuming there's going to be a game plus.
And that's how you get like the true ending or something?
That's how you can like unlock everything.
Okay.
Everything gets harder, but more money drops and all that.
Okay. So I think I'm like 30% through Horizon Forbidden West. That's what I started playing most of the past 2 weeks. And I got to kind of a point where I wanted to take a break. And it's not because I don't it's not because I dislike the game in any fashion. I still think it's really good. It's just I did just play like 80 hours of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and this game is the gameplay loop is strikingly close to it. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of getting the whole same game feeling, and I don't want to kind of burn myself out on that. So what I was meaning to do was more or less replay Disco Elysium, because I did just get the hard copy on the Nintendo Switch. So I'm like 20 plus hours into replaying this game. It's been quite the re-adventure because I played this in 2018, 2019, whenever it came out, and I just played it as quick as possible because the run that I decided to go through was making this character like a racist communist asshole, just the worst person, the worst of human you can imagine. And surprise, if you play that way, everyone hates you in the game and you can't really beat anything. So this time I'm playing as a super drug addict detective.
Nice.
But I'm also stupid. So I've made him very not intelligent. But he can assess things very well. So it's kind of like along the lines of, I can recreate this entire crime scene by looking at the footprints and how many there are and how the glass breaks. But what does that word mean I just said? That came weird. So it's a lot of things like that. And man, it's really tempting to play this game as a communist. It really wants. But I did just unintentionally no, everything's like your choice in the game more or less, but I've now made this guy only care about money as well, because it kind of came up the options like, you're tired of being broke, right? Because there's a lot of inner dialogue in the game trying to get you to unlock different personality traits and think a different way. And over the course of this playthrough, more and more of this like money situation kept coming up. And so now I got this dialogue with the guy, and I opted in to it where he just constantly thinks about making a buck. So now the recent dialogue was, now he's thinking about selling his partner's car so he can try and get rich off it, or at least started, and make different financial ventures. So that's kind of fun. But the game, the reason why I wanted to, because I've talked about this game in the past quite extensively, and how much I do like it, and the amount of just risque dialogue in it is super interesting, because you just don't come across a lot of games that outright encourage you to be like a communist, or it really goes into topics of race theory. You know, what is considered racist? Why is it racist? What led to this group of people looking at a different race of people a different way? It's as an anthropology major, I found it like super fascinating. And
Interesting.
yeah. Oh yeah, it's got a ton of just risque dialogue that's, again, you just don't see in games today. Everyone would be offended by it, kind of situation. Or not everyone, a select group. Let's be honest here. It's a loud group. But regardless, the game runs kind of ass on the Nintendo Switch. It's quite laggy in many areas. When you hit save, the game chugs to a halt for like a good 10 seconds as it like catches up again. I've experienced no less than 6 crashes, or I will start this dialogue, and then the characters on the screen will disappear, and the camera will just float up. That's happened way too often.
Oh no.
Yeah. Luckily, I could just save and reload. So it's like, all of these things are weird, like, inconveniences, because the game like loads and does everything pretty quick, but it definitely chugs a lot. There was another game that had similar issues, but the game was good. I can't remember. I'd have to pull my Switch out and look at it, but it was another like mystery type game on the Switch. But yeah, it's purely for the handheld reasoning behind why I got it on the Switch, and I like the physical copy because I played this whole game on Steam. I didn't need 20 hours to beat it last time, but but yeah, the very interesting. I love how it's kind of a linear story, as in, day by day, and you kind of already kind of figured out your daily tasks that you need to do for the mystery to be solved. The issue I really ran into on this playthrough was I kind of maxed out my daily tasks, and the problem was you can't really make time pass when the other detective is there, nor can you just say, I'm going to bed, I'll wake up in like 6 hours or something like that. The game doesn't let you make time pass during those instances. So I had pretty much maxed out all dialogue and all kind of missions that I could do during this particular day. But I had one task that was at like 10 o'clock that I had to do. But it was like 2 in the afternoon. I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do in this game? So I thought, all right, I'll just like watch something and the time will pass in real time, I guess. And the game doesn't work that way. You have to like find other dialogue. So I found myself just repeating dialogue, and you have to go through it again. And I'm just looking for things to pass the time. And that took like a good couple hours of just bullshitting. It could have been even 3 hours that I was just bullshitting through things. That was annoying. So that was a major flaw in the game that I found, where I just couldn't make time pass. And there was no way around it. So that's my big complaint.
That sucks.
Yeah. But I'm also...
Even Shenmue wouldn't do that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it would have things in the game to get you to pass time, because that's the whole purpose of it, right? Real time passing. Yeah. This one tries to do that, but like if I open a dialogue for the first time, like 30 minutes will pass in the game. But I had exhausted all that, so only like a couple minutes would pass while I'm doing that. I'm like, so annoying.
That sucks.
Yeah, I had something in mind. Oh yeah. The replay value of this is still incredible. Like, I'm coming across all these side missions that I didn't do before because I just couldn't do it. That's just not what my character was able to do. So there's just big chunks of the game that I've never seen before, wasn't able to activate, and they all seem sort of relevant to the main story. So they're actually I love it when games make side quests that aren't mandatory, but they're still loosely tied into the main story, in a way that it encourages you to seek them out and do them. There's not a lot that do this. I think there's like some missions in like Nier Automata that did that, but you didn't know which ones were those compared to the filler fetch quest nonsense things. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
Makes
sense.
Like this game, because it's so dialogue based, you upon immediately talking to the person, you kind of know if this is going to be relevant or worth your time. So there's one that I really got into this time around. I didn't do before. There's this woman whose husband is a cryptozoologist. He seeks out like the Loch Ness monster and shit, and you can the dialogue choice is exactly what you imagine. It's, oh, tell me more about cryptozoology. That sounds awesome. I want in. Or, that's fucking stupid. You're a tard. How could you even allow your dumb shit husband to seek out such a career? Or, I will give you money to fund this experiment, but I will like be a loan shark and take you for all you're worth. It's those kinds of things. And I'm like, oh, what do I want to do? So the detective kind of looks at he has his opinions of you change over the course of the game with your choices. So if you like totally opt into race theory, for example, and you become a racist, he just has the worst opinion of you, and he like doesn't help you anymore. He's just like forced to work with you, and it's the worst experience. Well, the cryptozoology thing, he doesn't like it at first, and then once you start talking about it so much, then he goes, is this really worth our time, officer? And you just go, fuck yeah, it is. And he goes, oh, fuck it, let's do it. And I was like, oh my god, yes! Detective, you're in! Let's go find some fucking invisible plankton. No, I'm serious. There's like guys on a coastline that are setting traps for an invisible creature. Fucking great. Love this game. You can
Sounds interesting.
yeah. I'm also doing speed with a kid who has a potty mouth. So that's pretty cool.
What?
Yeah. So the kid deals drugs and you're just like, I want drugs. And he goes, well, prove to me that you're cool, dude. And I was like, all right. So I broke into a person's medicine cabinet in their hotel room, found they had speed, and then I went and shared it with the kid and did speed with him, and then I got more speed. There's a lot of drugs in this game, Joey.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it. There was there was a dialogue I came through last night where, because this guy is so stupid, he doesn't understand the concept of homosexuality. So he approaches it what was the exact dialogue? It was something like so he's interviewing a guy who's maybe pertinent to witnessing a murder, but he's also a homosexual, okay? And he's like asking him, are you part of the nighttime, manly time, only on Sundays that go from behind? Or it's like so weird. And then the guy goes, you mean gay sex? And he goes, well, is that what it's called? I might be curious about that. And he goes, oh, are you, officer? You're like, well, and I have to explain to the guy that, so Joey, for premise, the whole game starts out with this dude waking up from a drunken binge the night before so bad that he has amnesia. He doesn't remember who he is, where he's come from. He just put himself in a drunken stupor so bad, he's a wreck.
Nice.
Yeah. So I go to this guy and he was like, well, I don't remember who I am, but I sure might be into butt sex. And I go, I just also happen to have a hotel room. I was like, oh my god. And the detective's gone? Let's go. It doesn't give you that option to go. It makes you do a thought dialogue, which is part of like your trait personalities you have to develop. So I'm thinking I'm going to make this guy a homosexual now and see what happens.
Nice.
I love this game. It's so good. So good. Most games would be afraid to do drugs with children.
Yeah.
Most games would. Is that wrong, Joey?
That is true.
Is that wrong? Is that frowned
No.
upon in society? Yeah, I don't think so either.
Not at all.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what I've been up to. Oh! There's one thing I've been looking into. And give me your gauge on this, guys. So there's a site called Crix. Have you heard of this?
Nope.
It is spelled. So you can get like I've been on this site before. It's pretty cool. They do a lot of like EverDrives and whatnot. That let's see. Did I save it in this one? No, I saved it in this one. I gotta pull it up. They do. Here we go. Crix. KRIKZZ.com. So they do a lot of like EverDrives for Nintendo 64, Super Famicom, Mega Drive, etc., etc. Okay, and they range in various prices, but they just you can program them in your own way. They come with every game imaginable. It's essentially guaranteed to work Raspberry Pis essentially for your original consoles. Well, they also sell a product where you could get what's called a Flash Kit programmer for the Sega Genesis. So what you can do is buy you could buy this programmer. It just hooks in your computer via like USB, and you can get ROM files and carts. But you do have to get a like a blank or rewritable what's the term? Like not SD card. It's dumb. Trying to find it. Cartridges. Where is so flat? You have to get a flash kit cart, which is essentially the chip board in your like Genesis carts. Follow me so far?
Kind of.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can get your shells from various other, bad Genesis games, or you could just buy blank ones online. They're like $5 or whatever. It's fine. And these empty flash carts are like $10 a piece. Okay. So you get this programmer, and then you could just program your own like homebrew games or ROM files onto this and kind of make your own collection from kind of scratch on that. It sounds totally illegal, but there's like so many sick homebrews out there for like drunk Sonic Genesis games that you could get. I'm really thinking of looking into this because it's quite affordable. It's like $60 for the programmer and then $10 for this and that here and there just to kind of make your own games. And the amount of money I kind of spend on like Japanese games that never made it to the US or European games that are just too hard to find and that run up in price. And with a lot of games that I still want to get for like the Genesis, this seems like a good avenue for me to travel down. And you can buy like a label maker for like $10 or something as well, which is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And this came up because I want to. There's a NHL 94 community, and they made the. I love NHL 94. I love this game. It's like my favorite sports game. You can get a ROM file of like the latest roster and upgrade graphics and everything, and you can essentially just make an NHL 94 game year over year with the latest like turnover roster for like 2022. Yeah. So that's kind of how because in Canada, they just stores would just make that themselves and sell it, and they'd sell it for like $60. Well, the programmer by itself is like $60, so I could just do this every year if I wanted.
Nice.
On my own. I just thought, what's your gauge? Do you guys think this is a decent little adventure, a little hobby to invest in?
Yeah, could be fun.
Maybe.
I mean, I have a couple Raspberry Pis, so this is probably something I would like to.
Yeah, I want to know if they have it for like they have to have it for like the Nintendo or Super Nintendo as well.
Yeah, they have Nintendo N8 Pro, which is $184.
Oh, really? Are you on Crix as well?
Yeah, if you get the cartridge, the 64 one is $200. So if you get like one that's like looks like it's an old game cartridge that they put onto it, so.
Well, I think you're looking at the EverDrive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the flash kit, I'm sure, could work for it because I'm assuming most of these are made from that flash kit, just beefed up.
Well, maybe. I don't know. All these games are different widths. I don't know if the Nintendo would work specifically. I'd have to look up more YouTube videos on it because I did look up a YouTube video to see how legit this was, and it was just so easy to do. Yeah, it's literally just plug and go, plug and click. That's it. There's like nothing to it. All right. I have nothing more to say. I'm going to definitely be looking into this. Anybody else?
Potentially.
Yeah, potentially. Potentially.
Right. Then I will play the drop. Okay, Colin, Rage Against the Machine, you're up, son.
Machines. We have to be careful about copyright here.
Colin, do you not know this podcast? Live off copyright infringement.
Yeah. And for the FYI to the audience, I have never listened to a Rage Against the Machine song.
You've
I just
seen The
think they're-
Matrix.
That is true. I just haven't gone out of my way to listen to Rage Against the Machine, even though their band name is super cool. But yeah, so first game is Metal Arms Glitch in the System for the GameCube, PS2, and Xbox. Developed by Swingin' Ape Studios and published by Vivendi Universal Games, although it's released under Sierra's name. Not sure what happened there. And released in North America on November 18th, 2003, and in the PAL regions on December 5th, 2003.
Blizzard
Throat's a
bought
little
this company, by the way.
Huh,
Yeah.
that's funny.
Yeah, it kind of sucks.
Yeah, I guess that's why we never got a sequel.
Well, there's other reasons why we never got a sequel.
Yeah, but I don't care to go into them. Plus, I didn't look it up, so...
Well, the game didn't sell well, is the point.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. The
But
game
yeah,
doesn't
the
sell
plot-
well, you ain't getting no sequel.
Yeah, just ask Beyond Good and Evil.
Yeah, no kidding.
So the plot is as follows. Iron Star, created and inhabited by robots. The just called Dr. Exavolt wound up creating General Corrosive, who created droids. And you play as Glitch, who is restored by the rebel droid army, and your job is to fight your way to General Corrosive and destroy him. So yeah, it sounds a lot like Cybertron from Transformers.
I love the wacky names in this. General Corrosive, Dr. Exavolt.
Yep, and two of the first guys you go on a mission with are named Screwed and Hosed. It's just got that screwball sense of humor.
Yeah, I wish
Just
they
like
I wish
in
they
Hot
got
Shots where they name the one guy.
Sure, yeah. I wish they went a little bit more creative with the main character's name. Like Glitch just with all the other fun names, Glitch just doesn't sound like it does much.
That's true.
Yeah.
But you do have the highest difficulty is called Nuts of Steel. That's pretty funny. And the repair robot drops bleeped out F-bombs like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah, that was very surprising. I swear I had played this game before, and I swear, Joey, you and I played this, but I must be totally wrong, because when I booted this up and I hear the motherfucker line in like the first 2 minutes, I went, I think I would have remembered that. So I don't think we ever played this before.
No, I don't think so, but I can see why you think it, because it looks like it's Clank. You're just playing a Clank game.
It plays
Ratchet,
very
yeah.
much like Ratchet and Clank, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it looks like Clank. Does it not look like it was Clank that just went through some portal and ended up in this world?
Sure, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
And got a new
I would
paint
agree.
job.
Well,
Portal magic. Don't need to talk about
yeah.
it.
Yeah, it's just a rift in the system. It rift apart. Ha 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 ha. No? Okay. So Ratchet and Clank joke, you fools. You're supposed to laugh. Ah!
No.
We get it. We just didn't find it funny.
Ah! Guys are terrible friends. Supposed to laugh at my bad jokes.
Never.
Hey, it's not like you laugh at mine.
Well, you're just not funny.
I rest my case.
Okay. Yeah, dude, this game had like fucking difficulty spikes up the ass all the time. It's just, oh, I'm running around, I'm killing shit. This is cool. And then this is the hardest thing I've ever played in my life. Just
Yeah.
good God. I'm shocked this game didn't get a mature rating for the language alone. But I guess if they beep it out, it's totally fine. And it's just robots killing each other. So that's not like humans. They don't have souls.
Yeah. There's no blood to spill.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that first boss, that's an example of a difficulty spike right there, because he will stun lock you so easily. He's got like this pole arm axe thing, and he'll just go into like this spinny motion, and then you can't get out of it no matter how hard you try. Though thankfully the game gives you an opportunity to grab like temporary invulnerability, so that helps. I was able to ultimately beat him.
I got fairly far in this game, believe it or not. But I'm really torn on this because there's definitely a good game here and it's well made. But there's just, I'm trying to find how much people spent on this. Yeah, so the GameCube version is $20 and then the Xbox and PS2 were like $5. So I got the Xbox version. That's what I paid.
I only paid $10 for my GameCube version.
Oh, well, how many years ago
10
was
Canadian dollars.
Was this recent?
Probably not. I think
Okay.
I've had it for a few years now.
Yeah, so I played like 4 or 5 hours in this, and this game wanted to have this like super fun, wacky little plot with the potty mouths. I guess trying to get some Conker's Bad Fur Day vibes in there, but it's not as mature. And then when I'm playing, it felt too much like Ratchet and Clank, but a worse version of it. But there's also a lot of good ideas that I feel just didn't quite work out. And I think the best example of what I'm driving at are the broken limbs things that you can do in the game. So you don't really shoot off other robots' appendages. They mostly just disable, and then the enemies will then, because like their arm is disabled and they can't shoot at you, they just kind of flail around and shoot randomly, which is cool, but now you have no sense of avoiding gunfire. And when you're shooting at distances, this happens way too often, and that's where kind of more difficulty spikes come in. Now, there are cool mechanics like you can take over other robots, and then they also have these glitches in them, and so you can kind of dive bomb enemies and just shoot around, and that's really fun to do. So that's kind of my best example of what I'm getting out this game. What did you guys feel about, I guess, what I've said?
I guess it kind of makes sense. I mean, it has all these some mechanics that set it apart from Ratchet and Clank, but yeah, it just, I don't know which came first, this one or Ratchet and Clank.
Ratchet and Clank beat it by a year.
Yeah. So, guess you could argue this was aping that game.
Yeah, but they would have been developed pretty much around the same time. So, but I mean, just kind of like movies, one industry is like, oh, I hear they're making a Meteor movie. We got to do one too. So it could have been something like that. Or they just happened to create both these at the same time, just randomly.
Yeah, but the third person kind of action wacky shooter, and with the way the strafing movements and all that, it's like they saw Ratchet and Clank, they had something similar, and then tweaked the movement style of the game. And then
I think they started with like Ratchet and Clank type thing, and then try to make it a little more serious, and that's where it kind of feels weird. Like what you're saying with the mechanics of disabling the robots, like they want to be fun and crazy with the names, and then you gotta get really busy with everything else. So it kind of felt like they changed directions at one point.
Yeah, but I am surprised like how well this game runs, because there's so much shit happening with all these bullets flying around and nuts and bolts flying, and you're going through these cool little areas. It does get samey at times, but you know, you could say that about, I guess, every game out there, especially during the early 2000s. But like, ran really well. I mean, we're not talking Disco Elysium chugging style, but it was very smooth. Sierra pumps out good games. I guess Sierra is the publisher, kind of, sort of.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I looked on the Wikipedia page, and there's really little to no mention of Sierra themselves, even though their name is on the cover.
It's on the cover, but it's not a developer or publisher. What the fuck?
Yeah, really.
It was released under Sierra brand name. Okay, why? I'm so confused.
And what difference does it make?
Vivendi Games acquired Sierra Online in like 97.
Okay.
Oh. Okay.
That makes sense then.
So I guess they used the name.
Yeah, name brand recognition.
Yeah, or 2001 or whatever. Point is, before this game, Vivendi had bought Sierra.
I will say, even though the game was super busy, the music was on point.
Yes.
Yeah, I liked it. But there were a lot of points where it just faded out, and I was going a long time without any music whatsoever.
Yeah, it gets kind of rough when games just go into utter silence, and then you're just like waiting for the next thing to kind of kick in. Yeah, it's a bummer.
Yeah.
Oh. Boss battles were fucking hard. My go-to ended up being like firing an EMP and then just blasting it with like rocket launchers. The weapon system I thought could have been much more unique to it, because if you're gonna do Ratchet and Clank, let's do Ratchet and Clank. Because all these upgraded weapons were just very basic stuff. You got a shotgun, now it goes into like pump action mode. Now you got a rocket launcher, now it like, I guess you fire 3 of them now or whatever it was. I can't recall, but every weapon was like that. You got a couple cool things like the MP and the robot takeover thing. But all in all, it was very standard stuff weapon-wise. I feel like that was an aspect they really could have got creative with. They just didn't do that.
Yeah, if there's one advantage Ratchet and Clank has over this, is that Insomniac knows how to get creative with the weaponry.
Dude, whether it's, let's see, there's that whole like slew of series, whether it's Jack and Daxter, Infamous, Ratchet and Clank, Resistance, Sly Cooper. I think Sly Cooper's made by someone else though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's Sucker Punch.
Sucker Punch is another good one that does that, so I'll just throw them in there. There's a lot of examples of utilizing your world and mechanics and getting creative with it, and I really thought Metal Arms Glitch in the System missed the mark on that tremendously, because I think that's what would have, like, plot aside, because they don't explain fucking shit in this game, you just do it. You just go.
Yeah.
The weaponry would have probably taken this game from good to great.
Yeah, most likely. What'd you think of the vehicle sections?
I thought they were ass. I thought they were outdated as fuck. Like, even for 2003.
Yeah, I mean, one joystick for accelerating and reversing, the other for steering. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I couldn't control it worth ass, and then it's making... I mean, the game tried to mix things up with, like, a driving section, and there was, like, a puzzle section that wasn't very good. Maybe just stick to what you're good at instead of forcing these things. But I get what they were doing. They were trying to break up the gameplay, so you're not doing the same thing over and over again. But if it's not good, then what's kind of the point? Yeah. Some things are more forgivable than others, of course.
Yeah. Well, all in all, I passed this game.
I pass it, but I didn't love it. I wanted to love it. I really did, because I did play it like 5 hours. So it's not like I just put it down and said, I'm done. I mean, there's another game we're going to get to.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. But I mean, I don't regret the purchase at all. $5, I got no problem with that. I think, and if I had an Xbox in 2003 and I was looking for something unique and new, this would probably be up there. I swear Matthew had... I'm going to have to ask my brother about this, because I feel like he bought this game for the PS2.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like he had this.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
I pass it as well.
Hey, all right. All right, what's the let's see. The game runs, like I said, $20 GameCube, about $5 on the others, and it's about a 14-hour adventure. So it's not short by any means.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw on GameFAQs how many levels there are. And there's quite a few.
Okay.
But yeah, next game.
Next game. This atrocity.
Next
Actually,
game
I will
is
have controversial opinions over this. I will be the other guy.
Yeah. So next game is Enter the Matrix, also for GameCube, PS2, and Xbox. Developed by Shiny Entertainment. Hey, it's the Earthworm Jim guys.
Yeah, well, they
And
sucked.
published. Well, they can't all be winners.
Oh, it's our
And published-
Infogrames guys. They're back.
I was just about to say, published by Infogrames. Released in North America on May 14th, 2003, and in the EU on May 15th, 2003. And for just as an aside for the audience, I was trying to choose as the second game. I was trying to choose between this or Descent 2,
It had to be this.
and
It has to be.
it was a tie. So I asked the guys which one they wanted to do, and they chose this. So here we are.
I am
And-
really glad you chose this because I had never played it up until this podcast.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. And
Yes.
there was no way I was spending money on this, by the way. I emulated the shit out of this game. And I actually
Yeah.
think the emulation is better.
Isn't that what they want you to do? I mean, fight the Matrix, emulate the game, baby.
That's right. That's right. I was
Yeah,
fighting.
and-
I was fighting the machine, literally.
And FYI, the game was released as a tie-in to The Matrix Reloaded, which released on the same month.
I thought it was the
even
same
written-
day. No,
Yeah, it could have been.
maybe.
I can't remember.
Mm.
I remember looking on Wikipedia, and it was released at around the same time. And the game was even written and directed by the Wachowskis themselves.
Yeah, they tried.
Yeah,
I'd
movie
say-
direction doesn't generally translate to game direction.
The tie-in, I thought, was one of its strong points.
So a major critique at the time, and I was looking up like old articles and whatnot over this because I was fascinated with kind of going back and just seeing what people thought and what the hype was in like previous gaming magazines. And obviously, Matrix, everyone wanted so much to do with it. It was a phenomenon in '99. We're all doing bullet time. We're all doing the Matrix mode. Whoa, whoa, cool. Oh, fighting the machine, brother. Oh. So there's a lot of hype for this game. A lot of people were very excited. A good developer behind it. Publisher was pumping money into it. It was generally very well hyped and excited, as well as the movie tie-in. It had its own branding. You know, the anime was with it. The comic, everything was pumping out. It, like if you were Matrix related, you were printing money, and
Yeah.
no matter what happened, this game printed money when it was all said and done. 1 million copies. It's got like 5 million now at this as of like 2004, as I'm reading here. So this was a financial success for all intents and purposes. It's insane.
Yeah. Yeah, so the plot is as follows.
Before you go on, the other critique was when this came out, and this was in not Game Informer, the Game Pro. What was the other sites I was reading? Yeah, regardless, I read 3 magazines, and they all had the same critique over it. That if you're a new Matrix fan and you're getting this game will not hold your hand and explain anything of the plot to you. You just jump right in because you were supposed to have already seen the first movie and possibly the second movie, Matrix Reloaded, because when you get like further into the game, there's a lot of Matrix Reloaded stuff that starts happening.
Yeah.
original footage and all this stuff. So you pretty much have to see the 2 movies and then play this game. And maybe some comic books, but that was less of a critique. I don't agree with that necessarily, because if this is advertised as a tie-in, then it's like watching a TV show and you're jumping in episode 6 and you go, why won't they explain anything to me?
Yeah. Well, for sure, you got to see the Final Flight of the Osiris short film. So, because I was just going to explain the plot is you're playing as Niobe / Ghost, who are 2 hovercraft crew members from the Human Resistance who are tasked with picking up a data package left behind by the crew of the Osiris, who are the ones who discovered the machine attack digging its way to Zion, which is...
Oh, yes. Got to go to the post office. Very important.
Yeah. Fighting through all those cops. And the rest of the game basically just takes place parallel to the plot of Matrix Reloaded. Just like filling in story gaps we never saw in the movie. Nor did we really care about. And like JD said, there's live action footage with the actual actors that has the same quality as the movies. So far as I know, I don't think that footage even is even on like the DVDs or Blu-rays. But what do I know? I haven't looked it up.
I mean, I have the DVD. I still have my 3 Matrix DVDs, but I don't think anything like that is going to be on them.
Yeah. I actually did play Enter the Matrix back when it first came out by renting it from Blockbuster.
You were part of the problem.
Hey, I rented it. I didn't buy it.
That still contributes money.
I just thought it would be super cool being able to do the kind of fighting you actually saw in the movies, even if you didn't get to play as Neo.
A lot of people thought that way. Oh, yeah. And to be fair, Niobe and Ghost are pretty cool characters.
Yeah. Yeah. Playing it now, it's definitely not as good as I remember. And it's not a bad idea for a game. I mean, back then, lots of people, including me, were chopping at the bit for a video game based on the Matrix. So,
well, you see, Colin, there was a better game that came out with similar mechanics called Max Payne.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. Max Payne, this is not. Yeah, it's like the bullet time mechanics, like wall running and dive shooting. They were cool at the time, but games like Max Payne and Prince of Persia were already doing them better. Because, Prince of Persia had wall running as well.
Yeah. No. You think they could like remake a simplistic version of this game now and it would actually function better? Because I think so.
I think if they remade it, like the story's not bad. You just need to redo everything else.
Yeah.
Just like I think my biggest critique of the game is the run cycle of the character.
No, when they're climbing on like the cages and they're like kind of ragdolling on it. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the very beginning of the game, you're like you're like Super Mario on the cage. Jink, 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 and all these bullets are coming at you, and your character's just flopping around.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, if you got like Remedy and Ubisoft to team up and make a Matrix game, they'd knock it out of the park, I think.
I don't know. I think if you just pick one of these better companies, like Ubisoft even, they could even do it better.
Well, the Prince of Persia team, anyway.
Well, let's see. You said Remedy, Ubisoft. What about Insomniac? They do good things.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Although the Matrix isn't really the place for their brand of
I don't know, man. With
at least not in the Matrix. In like the real world fighting the machines, I could see that.
I don't know. The Infamous series, I hope I'm not mixing up my video game. Whatever, I'll just go with it. Infamous, that's what I'm going for. Infamous seems very Matrix-like, at least in terms of like superpowers and things, and all you have to do is add like a slowdown mechanic and you're good to go.
I'm not sure I agree.
Joey, what is your opinion on this matter?
I don't know.
You don't know. What do you know? What is your opinion over Enter the Matrix?
Nothing. I mean,
Are you going to start doing like philosophizing on me? It's just like, well, what is opinion?
I like the story and I like the concepts. I really like that it tied into the movie. Like, I like that about that. It wasn't just a retelling of the movie. It was like, oh, by the way, you know when the power went out here? That was the game. But it was sloppy.
Yeah.
So very sloppy.
You know what was even sloppier? The lighting. Everything was so fucking dark. There was an area I got to where it was just black, and I could only see with the gunfire shooting off a little light. I couldn't see anything. I'm like, what the hell? Did you know if you turn the game's brightness up, everything becomes green?
Well, no shit.
Yeah. Yeah, just everything's green. I was like, maybe I'll play this for a little while, because this whole section of the game was just so unbelievably dark I couldn't see anything. Sloppy. Yeah, sloppy.
Yeah.
It's a good word. Good word for
Yeah,
it.
especially with the controls. Because, this game has tank controls. Although they're not quite as janky as a lot of the games we've covered before. But
I would rather play
time,
Resident Evil in the. I would rather play Enter the Matrix in the Resident Evil world than play this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really weird that the button to fire guns is like the top button instead of one of the triggers. For example, like on GameCube, it's the Y button, and I imagine on PS2, it's the triangle.
But it's not that far-fetched of the time. I mean, because we're so ingrained with I mean, we had the same critique over like Medal of Honor. Those early Medal of Honor games that are really good.
Oh, yeah.
And even the first Resistance game still had weird or different shooting controls and a different mapped controller, just slightly different. I would say Resistance has more critique to that aspect than a 2003 game. Because when we were playing Medal of Honor, it's just like, okay, X is to shoot, and then like L1 and R1 is to switch the cameras around, or R1 is to fire in this sequence, and you have to activate with square to get in the sniper mode. It's just things that weren't really established as commonplace back then is like second nature now. It's sort of like glitch or Metal Arms Glitch in the System, where the first like 30 minutes is a tutorial level, and it's just like telling you how to move the camera around. And games don't really do that anymore, where it's like, oh, you have to be told that the right analog stick is to aim and look around. You just don't think about these things.
Yeah, but back in like 90s and early 2000s, even GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, and Max Payne used the shoulder triggers for shooting. That's just intuitive.
I mean, it's better, that's for sure. I'm just saying it wasn't commonplace yet. The best games had that mapping system for sure, generally.
I guess so.
It's just not something I'm being overcritical of when there's so much other shit in this game that we can make fun of.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this run cycle like ruined so much of the game, because there was some things I liked a lot about this. I liked the concept. I liked some of the fighting. I liked the fighting mechanics. That was pretty cool. Like sweeping the leg. Go on, Joey.
Polished. They just weren't polished.
No.
Like, I liked it too. I liked disarming, or you could execute people with your guns. Like, that stuff was cool. It just looked terrible.
Yeah, like hit detection. It looked like it looked like a WWE wrestling camera angle at sometimes. Like, that knee wasn't even close, brother. Like, what are we doing? There's 60 camera switches in 40 seconds. Like, there was a lot of those issues in this game. I think unpolished is another good word to use for this.
Yeah, I mean, just look at the cover system. That was really awkward. Although, to be fair, this was before Gears of War.
It's so funny. You hit the button, then he like goes out, spread eagle, and he's ducked, and he's shimmying around like a little crab.
Yeah. Yeah, the
Unintentionally
movement
funny.
animations in general.
Unintentionally funny.
Yeah, you're just seeing these characters who look all cool with their sunglasses and their trench coats, just janking around like rag dolls.
Yeah.
Fucking-
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like they rushed it because it did come out a week after the movie. So they probably like, fuck it, ship it. Let's just get what we got out there. People are going to buy it anyway.
Well, they weren't wrong. They were not wrong in this aspect.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna lay some prices down. Let's see if it's worth it. I say $0. I emulated it because that was my choice. The highest price it's going for is the GameCube version at $11. Is it worth it?
Maybe.
Ooh.
If you're curious.
No,
If you've
I don't
never
think you
played
want to
it
play on the
before?
GameCube.
Joey says no. The
Okay.
Xbox version goes for $6.
That's more reasonable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, we're at reasonable. Okay. The
I said more reasonable.
the PAL region, so in Europe, you can get any console version for $3.
Oh, wow.
I would say this game is worth picking it up for $3.
Okay, we got our price. If you see it in your store for $3, then it's worth it.
I mean, this game is shitty. There's a lot of things wrong with it, but I still liked it.
It's like an 8-hour game, so it's not. I would say it's kind of your God of War standard type game time.
Yeah, all the things that are wrong, I don't think it made me mad. It just made me laugh. So it added like a different level to the game
Yeah.
Yeah.
of enjoyment.
So my controversial opinion is the game, like you said, Joe, it's clearly rushed. However, there's a lot of like just good unpolished things, if that makes sense verbiage wise. If this run cycle wasn't as fast and goofy, I think that would fix a lot of like game pace and feel to the entire thing. Is that like a controversial statement? Like this is one thing would help your, I guess, palate as you're digesting this game?
I don't think it's controversial so much as confusing. You're going to have to explain that one.
So picture this. Max Payne in your head, he had the kind of slow, he had a walk, he had a slower run, and then he had his like fast run, okay?
Yeah.
Got that in your head? In this one, he's just always going a million miles an hour in that sprint mode.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So if you're able to just slow down the character, you then intake everything a little bit slower, and it's much less hectic and in your face all the time.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
There's one other thing I wanted to bring up about Enter the Matrix here.
Well, I just want to say the environments are really plain and generic.
That's what it was.
So, that makes it so easy to get lost.
I got lost over and over again.
Yeah, same here.
Every single time. So that would be a major thing they would need to fix in this game, is make these environments distinguishable from another. I walked into like 4 bathrooms in a row before. This is just at the beginning of the game. I was like, that's a bathroom. That's a bathroom. That door's locked. Oh, look. Oh, bathroom. Okay. And then a cutscene. I'm like, oh my God. There were a lot of cutscenes. Jesus.
Yeah, and there's a lot of loading screens too.
My God.
But at least it saves frequently.
It does. It saved like after every major instance. It's like,
Yeah.
okay. It felt like I was doing save states.
Yeah.
Okay. Despite my fun in making fun of this, I fail it.
Yeah, I give it a soft fail.
I'm gonna give it
See
a
what
soft
it was trying
pass.
to do.
Ooh, Joey with the soft pass. All right.
Oh, good for him.
Okay. I will go first with my grades. Metal Arms, like I said, there's just some things in the game, keeping it from being great. I still think it's good, but it's got a lot of aspects I'm heavily critiquing. I'm in between that B and C range. And if I was going to give it like a true grade, it'd be like a, I don't know, C plus B minus, right? So 79. I'll just go B. I'll go B on that one. Enter the Matrix. I gave it a soft fail. That's like a D plus C minus area, but I'll go down because it had the funding clearly, and they, chose to rush this out. I'll go D. I'm rounding down on that one. So that's my opinion. B and D. Joey?
Glitch. I'm going to give it B.
Ooh.
And Matrix. I'm going to give it a C.
Okay. All right.
Playable. It's sloppy, but playable.
Colin, you're the man. What's going on?
I give Metal Arms a B. And I give... I had something written down here. Oh, yeah. Yeah, for Metal Arms. It's not the most in-depth or intuitive game ever, but there's enough crude jokes, cuss words, and shit blowing up to keep any teenage boy happy.
I think I got to start going... sorry, before you give your Into the Matrix. I think I got to start going... If I think I didn't regret my purchase of how much it's kind of going for, I'm leaning towards a high C, B range, like immediately, for games going forward. Because if I look at my pattern and how I rate these things, that's kind of my feeling on it. If I regret the purchase, then we're at the fail range situation, and then we're just kind of going from there.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And for Enter the Matrix, I give it a low C. It's like I see what it was trying to do, but the execution was less than stellar.
Okay, then I will follow up. How high of a B grade were you on Metal Arms?
C.
No, on Metal Arms.
Oh. I guess on the low end.
Okay, so we're all kind of in these same areas of how we feel about these. Interesting. That's interesting. Okay, so that makes Metal Arms a B and Enter the Matrix a shocking C.
Yeah.
How about that? It's right there with, let's see, I'm looking at some of the other games we've played throughout the year. We didn't like Stormlord. And we didn't like Shenmue. Those are kind of... Manhunt's got a really low score.
Yeah,
so we liked Enter the Matrix more than Manhunt and Barbie Magic Genie Adventure. That Enter the Matrix better than Barbie.
Shocking.
That's shocking, dude. Okay. Shocking. How can anything be better than Barbie?
Okay. All right, so the next theme pick is mine. I guess I need to decide on one. I got one I've been meaning to do for a while, so that's going to be
quick. Yours, or is it back to me?
It is. It is back to you, Joey. I'm sorry. I apologize, Joey. It's your pick. Then it's mine.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have the next two then ready to go.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, guys. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye now.